Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I wish to Madam Fareiny. My name is Ammar Afif bin Rizal and my partner Maisarah Firdaus. Today we're going to talk about agency cost of equity and free cash flow theory.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Maisarah Binti Firdaus. I'm here today to talk to you about the agency cost of equity. So what is agency cost? Agency cost is the cost incurred because of a conflict that arises between the shareholders and the managers of a company. These conflicts arise because shareholders want the managers to take decisions that will benefit them. So the next one, I'm going to explain about the types of conflicts and parties involved in agency costs. The first type of conflict is conflict arises between the owners of the business and its manager. The owner and the principal and the manager act as the agents. The conflict arises because the managers are not satisfied with the decision taken by the owners. It also can be the manager's remuneration, owner pursuing self-goals. The second one is conflict arises between the owners. The conflict between them arises when the controlling owner fails to assure the minority holders that they will not be exploited. The lack of trust between them leads to conflict. And the last type is conflict arises between the owners of the firm and its stakeholders. The stakeholders are the people or parties with whom the business does its dealing. The conflict arises when the stakeholders feel that the owners are taking undue benefits of their position. So who bears the burden of the agency cost? The cost which is bear by the company to reduce the agency conflict is basically known as agency cost. The cost must be maintained by the respective parties or by the company. So now we move to the next one, which is the types of agency costs. There have two types of agency costs, which is the first one, agency cost of debt. Agency cost of debt is the increase in the cost of debt of organization. When there is a conflict between the stakeholders and the debt holders, the debt supplier like bondholders impose constraint on the use of their money. The debt supplier, in order to protect themselves from the ongoing conflict, take preventive measure in form of higher interest rates. And the second type is agency cost of equity. Agency cost of equity arises due to differences between the shareholders and the management of the company. When the management diverges from the interests of shareholders for any reason, the shareholders have to bear the cost. Therefore, agency cost of equity is the cost involved to keep a check on management decision making by the shareholders. More details about the agency cost of equity is the cost arising from the fact that corporate managers such as CEO may maximize their own value at the expense of their principals. CEO are agents of firm shareholders, but their interests may not be fully aligned with shareholder interests. Agency problem arise when CEO has less than 100% of equity. For example, assume that the CEO can steer resources or engage in negative NPV activities that please him. Managers utilities function, wealth in share value plus amount stolen. Now, if top management has 100% equity in firm, there will be no incentive to steal. Why? This is because for every $1 he steals, share value drops by $1, so he is worse off than if he did not steal.
So let's have a look about free cash flow theory. Free cash flow theory represents the cash available for the company to repay its creditors or pay dividends and interest to their investors. Free cash flow reconciles the net income by adjusting for non-cash expenses, changes in net working capital, and capital expenditure. It also acts as a supplemental tool for analysis, as free cash flow can reveal the problems in the fundamentals before they arise on the income statement. The free cash flow hypothesis says that an increase in dividends should benefit the stockholder by reducing the ability of manager to pursue wasteful activities. Free cash flow is what you will get back in your pocket once you own a company or by holding their share. So let's say you are the owner of a Nestle Malaysia. After years of business, you gotta replace and do some maintenance about the property, the plant, machinery and equipment of the business. And after all the expenses of what we call the capital expenditure, the amount of money left after you use to pay your employee and replace the machinery and equipment, which is the leftover, is called the free cash flow. Did you know that there are a lot of business that have high net earning, but they didn't have any free cash flow because they will reuse their earning, rolling it up completely just to stay and survive in the business. For example, the car company or manufacturer are the one who having trouble in getting any free cash flow, as to come out with a new model of car, it require at least millions of dollars. And of course, car designations or model have to evolve a few times following the era, and all of that sucks up our free cash flow. What is the importance of free cash flow? That's the only money we can get when we own a company, and the earning we will later allocate it anywhere we want. So how to find free cash flow? First, we have to look if there is any, and second is to understand what the company do with that free cash flow. It is by looking at the cash flow statement. Let's have a look at the current economic situations in Malaysia. We can see this is an ASIA per head cash flow statement. To find the free cash flow, we have to analyze where is the operating activities at the net operating cash flow, which is here, and minus with the expenditure or the capital expenditure CapEx, which is the fixed asset. And this will resulting for the free cash flow 3.36 billion, increasing of 660.17% in 2019. As far as all value investor concerned about the Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, the legendary and the great investor, built that company as a cash flow monster. He acquired the company like Coca-Cola, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Kraft Heinz, and these companies produce dividend, and that money comes in the form of free cash flow directly to Berkshire Hathaway for Buffett to reinvest in the other businesses. So our goal is we have to do exactly the same thing as Buffett is doing, but as a shareholder, we did not hold the whole company, so free cash flow will be served and allocated to us in a few ways. First, the company take the free cash flow to reinvest it in expanding the company business, and it is good thing as it will make more profit. Second, they pay us dividend, and then we can reallocate it whatever we want. Third, the company buy back their own shares with the free cash flow, but make sure they use the value investing method, which is buying back the shares only if the share price is lower than the actual intrinsic value. So in that way, we're going to gain more. Another tips is to make sure we choose a company that with a free cash flow that have at least the size of the net earning, unless it's not going to make any fortune. I hope you enjoy a lot from this video and learn a lot about agency cost of equity and free cash flow theory. With that, enjoy your holiday and Assalamualaikum.